Maybe it's something, maybe it's nothing.
Someone, I think I told you, someone commented, this is a real Ronnie, maybe it's nothing, maybe it's everything moment. And I was like, well, we're learning our catchphrases as we go.
It's really never in between.
I
I
agree.
feel.
I mean, that's the
It's
nature of
either
this
like
business, right? Like,
maybe it's absolutely nothing, or maybe it's gonna turn your entire world upside down.
yeah, I mean, that's it. This is for our listeners. Hello, welcome. Nice to see all of you. I guess not see all of you, but I just told Ronnie that I had a fun banter topic. This is not the fun banter topic, but I feel the need to tell you that Derek this morning described me as bubbly, and I was like, "Excuse me," and then he was like, "Okay, maybe not bubbly, but like you laugh a lot when you're happy," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I wouldn't call myself
It's
bubbly."
different.
For our listeners, Ronnie will attest, my nickname in college was Krabby. To this day, people refer to me as Crabbigail.
She's still in my phone as Crabby.
I'm still in her phone as Krabby. I'm in another of our friends' phones as Grumpy Senior. Bubbly is not an adjective usually used to describe me, but that was
Yeah,
fun.
definitely not.
Okay, so my fun banter topic was going to be, I saw Sara Bareilles in concert last night, which I know is so random. I know it's so fucking random. Like, she's not my thing. Like, I don't like her, but my uncle was up here. He
I
was like,
like her a
hey,
lot.
he was like, hey, I have 2 extra tickets to see Sara Bareilles. Do you and Derek want to come? And it was like this benefit concert. It was just her and a piano. It was very small. It was fucking amazing.
She's
was
so good.
so good. She is so talented. And I was literally like, yeah, sure, I'm excited, but like it's not, she's not, I'm not listening to Love Song on repeat, like
Yeah.
I appreciated it, but I'm not like out here listening to Sara Bareilles. But I truly feel like I've never just gone to a concert where I've appreciated how talented someone is,
Yeah.
like to the extent that I did last night. I was just like, she is unbelievable. Like, she's so fucking good. And now, so here's a hot tip. She's writing a new musical, apparently.
A
And she like
musical?
played, yeah. Well, she wrote Waitress. She already wrote a musical.
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's writing a new musical. And I'm like, I would go see this. I would go see this musical now. Like, I was fucking blown away by her.
She comes from a singer-songwriter era where there was a lot of raw talent. Like
Yeah.
just raw talent in people who could sit down with a guitar or a piano and like perform.
Yeah.
Like, did she play?
Yeah.
Was
It was
she accompanying herself?
No, just her and a concert piano. At one point she played guitar. At one point she had another guy play piano, and she sang a show tune, and she was like, "This is a very famous show tune. You're all gonna know and sing along." And I was like, I've never. I don't know this song. I can't tell you what it is.
Did you record it?
No. There's something about like I love him, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna be able to Google that. There's certainly many show tunes about that topic.
Was it On My Own from Les Miserables?
No, it was not that. I know that song. I'm pretty covered on Les Mis because you made me listen to the Les Mis soundtrack, Hamilton, Wicked, Phantom of the Opera. No, I don't know that much Phantom. Like, those are the 3 I got.
Like the one song that says Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera, yeah. That one.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I just sung on this
jealous.
podcast. That's terrifying, but
it's fine.
So, Sara Bareilles, if you can see her in concert in a small venue, like, just fucking blown away. Just blown away. Unbelievably good. Just great. And so such a random thing. I'm at the beach. That's why we have a different background here. So it was just such a random thing.
Wow. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I love live music. It's the best. No, I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you found a new artist that you respect. That like doesn't happen every day. That's fun.
Respect plenty of artists. I just don't respect.
Okay, but you know what I mean.
All of them. Yes.
You saw it. Sara Bareilles was fun poppy before this.
Oh yeah, and then it's so she played Love Song. And she didn't play it last. It wasn't like her closer or anything. She was like, it was like her 3rd song. And she literally goes, she had this great stage presence the whole time. She was like having fun. She was like, I wrote this song because my label told me I had to. And then she does the opening chorus to Love Song. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is fun. This is good.
Yeah. Cool.
So that was fun. So I'm a little sleepy today, but it was worth it.
It sounds worth it. I would be sleepy for a concert.
Yeah.
Well, hi guys.
Hello everyone. Welcome.
I'm Ronnie.
I'm Abby.
And this is Dragons in the Details, where we pick apart our favorite fantasy series over the course of an undetermined number of episodes. I know we might have some new faces, listeners here. We are embarking on a new season. We have published 2 episodes so far this season. This is our 3rd, and this season is focused on A Court of Thorns and Roses, the series, not the book, by Sarah J. Maas. So, disclaimer, these episodes contain spoilers for the entire ACOTAR series, all 5 published books. If you have not finished those 5 books, go no further. You will be spoiled. We are going to announce any Massverse spoilers ahead of time, and for those who are maybe new to the fandom, Massverse is a term for all of Sarah J. Maas's works, which includes the Throne of Glass series and the Crescent City series. So we will announce those ahead of time. We're going to keep them to the end. For those who have only read ACOTAR, all 5 books, you may stay until we say Maasverse spoilers, and we'll say that way later in the episode. So we've got plenty of content that includes no spoilers for any books except for those 5. Each week, we dive into a specific topic in depth. We are following up our Tamlin deep dive, which came out last week, with an episode on his maybe trusty, maybe sidekick, Lucien Vanserra. We come with receipts. We will have quotes to back up any theories, so you can follow along if you're skeptical. You do not have to follow along. You could totally just listen to this for fun. I know a lot of you listen. You've messaged us that you listen like at work on Monday mornings or when you're taking care of your kids. Like, we also just want to be a fun podcast that's here for you. But if you like to keep up in the books, we're going to make that possible for you as well.
I love when you guys email us that you listen to us at work, because I'm like, what is your job? What is your job that you can listen to
that you can, yeah, right, that you can pay attention to this.
Like this podcast requires a level of attention. And I know that means that it's not for some people, but yeah.
I know, and I have to wonder too, like, do you listen twice? Like, do you listen once? Just because, like, I sometimes do that with podcasts. Like, I listen to this podcast that I'm obsessed with. I think I've told you about it. I listen to this podcast called Morbid. And when there's this, like, an episode, it's a true crime podcast. And so when there's an episode about a murder, like, story, or sometimes it's like somebody who almost was murdered and then survived, and those are much more uplifting. When there's one that I, like, loved, I'll sometimes listen to it while I'm busy just for the vibes, and then I'll, like, listen again. I'll be like, I have to pay attention this time.
I don't know if we're worthy of a pay attention second listen, but if you're just here for the vibes, that's okay too. We appreciate you.
I know.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. All right, Abby, announcements for this
week.
All
right. So Ronnie mentioned our ACOTAR Massverse structure a bit. Just to go a bit more into detail with that, the way we're going to do that, the first part of our episodes are always going to be ACOTAR focused. We're going to try to make the majority of our episodes ACOTAR focused, and then have just some Massverse questions at the end. I'm going to tell you guys right now, not for this episode, don't worry, you have plenty of time. That's not going to be possible with every single topic. I won't get into when and where that is, but there might be some episodes this season that might have to be more heavily focused on the Massverse. Just warning you about that now. And as Ronnie said, you're going to get a spoiler. We're going to be going into deep dives this season. We have a lot more material to cover, so we haven't totally figured out yet, we might be structuring our season slightly differently. So Ronnie just mentioned we did Tamlin last week. We're doing Lucian this week. This is kind of our spring court module. We're starting with this because this is how, of course, our series starts. So we're starting with spring court, and then we're going to kind of move into other modules to keep ourselves focused on specific areas of the books. We also might not do character episode deep dives the way we have done them in the past. We might focus on a specific part of a character. So for example, instead of doing a Rhys deep dive, we might have a Rhys family tree deep dive. That's currently in our plan. So kind of more focused episodes. We think that's just going to be better for everyone. Might lead to shorter episodes. We're not sure. If you want shorter episodes, let us know. We're happy to try to oblige.
We'll do our best to encompass any feedback.
Best.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just start chatting though, start yapping, and there's nothing to be done. One other thing I wanted to mention, it's not in our outline, but I forgot. You might have noticed we have deep dive intro music this season. So we have some new music. That is music from Schwoodley, who is my boyfriend, I will tell you right now. But he's also a great musician. You should check him out on Spotify. He does really great like electronic type stuff. He's a wonderful musician. So that is Schwoodley, SCHWOODLEY. He did not tell me to plug him. If he ever listens to this, he might be embarrassed, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
He deserves the plug.
He deserves the plug. I agree.
It's a fun little clip.
Yeah, so if you like our intro music or our deep dive music, check them out.
Check them out. Also, this podcast is rated R.
Oh,
We curse. So don't listen to this with your children. I forgot about that. That's my bad. I will edit out any cursing that we have inevitably already done prior to now. But these books are spicy. These books have curse words. We also curse. So this podcast is rated R. Please do not expose any children to it. Cool. All right. Corrections, omissions, social media shoutouts. Abby, do you have any to share with the class?
I do have one. Do you have any?
I have one.
Okay.
It's a
Is
shout
it
out.
about glamoring?
No.
Okay. All right. That's fine then. So we don't have the same one. So I went back because we talked about during the Tamlin episode whether or not all High Lords could glamour or if this was a unique trait to Tamlin, and we know that Rhys can do it. So whether it was just Tamlin and Rhys or all High Lords. I don't think we have an answer on all High Lords, but Tarkin definitely can't glamour. Right.
Yeah.
So we know this because when they are in the summer court trying to figure out whether they should chase the Hybern armies or they should kind of stay and defend where they are. Oh my God, I can't remember his name. Tarkin's nephew says, why don't we cast a glamour? Why don't we make it look like we stayed, but we'll also move? And Tarkin is like, could you do something like that to Rhys? And Rhys says, oh, I could do it with Feyre's help. So Tarkin is surprised that Rhys could cast such a powerful glamour. So it's not a skill that all High Lords have. So we know Rhys can do it. We know that Tamlin can do it. The second piece of this I kind of wanted to talk about is the glamour that Feyre casts, because we get Feyre's point of view of it. Feels very different than what Tamlin does to Elaine and Papa Archeron. So she said it was like applying a thin film over all those living in the camp that would then separate when we moved out, separate and grow into its own entity that walked and talked and did all manner of things here while we marched to intercept Hybern's army, hidden from sight by Rhys. So it's like she's kind of creating something like outside of herself rather than going into Hybern's army's minds and like erasing a certain thing that happened. So it's like there's glamours and then there's whatever Tamlin did. Oh, I also did want to mention that Cressida, who's Tarkin's niece, she can also glamour. So it's not necessarily only a High Lord thing, but there seems to be the glamoring and then what Tamlin does. And then I know I've been harping on this a bit, the Tamlin's a Daemati thing, but like we do have two examples of Rhys talking about what it sounds like Tamlin did to Elaine and Feyre's father. So he talks about wiping Valeris from the minds of the Night Court when they're under the mountain. He says, and as I felt my powers being ripped away by that spell she'd put on me at the toast, I flung them out one last time, wiping Valeris, the wards, all that was good from the minds of the Court of Nightmares, the only ones I'd allow to come with me, right? So this is erasing a memory, right, from the minds of the Night Court. And then he also does it with the Picts after Calanmai. So he not only erases their memories, he makes them confess to having betrayed Amarantha, right? So he is now erasing memories and planting ideas in the minds of these creatures, which is exactly what Tamlin does to Elaine and Papa Archeron when he makes them think that Feyre was taken away by great aunt. Again, I'm not saying that Tamlin is 100% definitely a Daemati, that we're getting that reveal, but like I do think she has written it that way that she could decide later on that if Tamlin were a Daemati, she would have enough to back it up.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we need to just learn more about glamoring in general. And I think we might. Like, I think we're going to learn more about Dracon and Miriam, who also, one of them can sustain glamour. So...
Dracon seems to be a Daemati. There is a moment in the battle with his army, with the King of Hybern, where he is talking to his army mind to mind. Like Feyre says she sees him relaying messages mind to mind, basically. So he seems to be a Daemati as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
Yeah. So curious. All right, what was yours?
Mine was a social media shout out. I do have a correction, but then it turned into my precog corner theory, so I unfortunately have to keep it silent. But social media shout out. So we posted a bunch of clips, and you guys know we are fans of A Court of Silver Flames. We're fans of Nesta. We're fans of Cassian. I just want to set the record straight here because I think some people had some really strong reactions to some of our pro Nesta clips. I like Feyre.
Oh my God.
I really like Feyre.
I know.
I do not think you need to be anti one sister to like the other. Feyre is a fabulous protagonist for the first 3 books. And by the way, she's one of the 2 first-person POVs in this entire universe. So I 100% recognize her importance. I think she's critically important. I love her. She is just easy to love and therefore doesn't really need defending, in my opinion. But I want to be so clear. I love her as a character. Being pro Nesta does not make you anti Feyre, and I'd like to just shut down that narrative in our comment section, please.
Completely. I'm getting the same shit. I'm like, whoa, hold on. I never said I didn't like Feyre. We never said that. Like, Same with Cassian. People are like, Reese sucks. And I'm like, no, not what I said. Just because I love Cassian doesn't mean Reese sucks. Like,
I'm gonna really struggle with the Reese sucks comments once they start flooding in, because I'm so against that mentality.
Yeah, so we posted that clip where I pointed out that Feyre treats Nesta the way that Tamlin treats Feyre, right? All I was really trying to do with that clip was point out a kind of crazy parallel, right? And then people were like, yeah, Feyre sucks. She's such a bitch to Nesta. And then people were like, Nesta's so terrible. Why would Feyre be nice to her? And I'm like, holy shit. Calm the brakes. I'm just pointing out a parallel here. Like, this is not.
Guys, two different points of view. Like, two different points of view. They're written that way for a reason. We are meant to empathize with both of them. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing so.
So and you can disagree with me if you want. This is not that podcast. This is not a podcast where we're going to sit around and debate whether characters are good or bad, right? We are here for theories. We are here for what does this mean? Like we're going to do an Under the Mountain episode. We're not going to talk about Reese Under the Mountain. Like, as far as I'm concerned, that's not really interesting theory wise. Like, he explains his actions. I'm not here to make a judgment call about that. You know, like, you can, that's fine. But like, this is a theory based podcast, not a I'm going to make judgments on characters podcast.
Yep.
That's how I feel. Agree. Cool. Except for our intro episode where we talked about how much we love all of these characters. So, like,
yeah. I do think, like, it's only human to like and dislike characters. Like, I'm not going to say that I will never express dissent or love for a specific character. That's not realistic, but
no,
we don't have to agree. And also, I like Feyre. That's the crux of this social media shout out. I like Feyre.
Yeah. No, I am like, what the fuck what's happening here? I didn't say that.
This fandom is very opinionated, and we love you guys for it. But we ask that you please be civil while you discuss.
I agree. Please be civil. I mean, yeah, it's just they're just books. We're just here to have a good time.
Here to have a good time.
Ronnie, how do you feel about Lucian? How are we saying Lucian's name? Because I say Lucien.
In my head it's Lucien, but I know that it's Lucian. Like, okay. I know that it is. So I'm gonna try my best, guys, to say Lucian. If I say Lucien, I'm sorry. It's just the way it sounds.
I guess in my head it's Lucian. I don't know why. Like Lucia from second season of White Lotus? Or her name was Lucia. Never mind.
Yeah, Lucia is an Italian name. Yeah. Lucian, I think, is French, I want to say.
Yeah, well, Lucien.
Which would be Lucien.
Lucien is French.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I feel fairly confident that it's supposed to be pronounced Lucian in the context of this series, but I'm with you. I say Lucien in my head.
All right,
oh, well.
We'll go with Lucian.
We'll go with Lucian, and you guys let us know what you think
is right. Rip us apart
in
the comments. It's
fine.
Sure. We can take it. All right. Ronnie, how do you feel about Lucian?
So, there are Lucian haters. I am not one. I'll just say it outright. I think I really enjoy Lucian's character. I think he is the dark horse of the series. He is a dark horse in the series. I am wary of Lucian. I'm not sure whether he's wholly good or wholly not good or somewhere in between, but I feel like on the scale of good versus bad, he's good. Like, I feel good about him. He is clearly lost. The only family he has is family he finds. I really like that about his character, and like how much you wonder about where he really belongs. And it's clear that he cares for Feyre even when it's inconvenient for him. Like, he cares for what's right. I get that sense from him as he kind of progresses throughout the series. Like, he's trying to do the right thing mostly. And you can see the like wrestling in him when he's doing something that's not right, or when Tamlin more accurately is doing something that's not right. But I do think he loves Tamlin as well, and so he's kind of tragic in my opinion. Like, I like him as a character because he's interesting, but he's tragic. Like, he's got this complex family history. He's got this like family that he hates that isn't even his. He's not really connected to his real family, so he finds this band of exiles and he feels out of place in Feyre's court, even though he's mated seemingly to her sister. But I think, and this will become clearer as the episode goes on, I think he's underrated in his importance. I think he has way more to do in this series than he's done to date, and I'm kind of surprised that the only real theories that I've seen floating around about him are about his mating bond with Elaine. He is the only son of the High Lord of Day. He has as critical of a role as Reese does in making sure that Feyre actually frees them all. And he has this like mysterious eye and this connection to all these other courts that no one quite understands yet. So yeah. I'm interested in
talk me
Lucien.
through your second point. He has as much a role to play as Rhys does. Oh, you mean
He
under the mountain?
is the reason she doesn't die as well.
Under the
Yes.
mountain. Yeah.
Yeah, under the mountain.
Yeah.
So there are Lucien haters. I'm not one. How do you feel about Lucien?
So I know in our intro episode, I was like, oh, Lucien. And I want to walk that back. I want to say, I think I was too harsh on this imaginary person. Like, yeah, I literally wrote my notes like tragic is in like all caps here. Like his life is so sad. Like nothing good has happened to this man. Like his
Not one
lover
good
was
thing.
murdered in front of him. He literally hears her heart stop beating by his father. He's being, the man he thinks is his father. He's being held down by his brothers. His mother, like, I know he's her favorite son, but like she doesn't like see him under the mountain, right? Like in the second trial, like she is not there.
It's also sad.
Yeah, he's just like, he really can't catch a break. Like he was desperately in love with Jesminda, like he still is seemingly, and like Elaine is his mate, and she doesn't. Well, we'll get to that. But like he at least thinks Elaine is his mate, and she's not even like giving him the time of day. And I'm not saying she like she has to. I'm just saying like on top of everything else that has gone like so tragically terrible in Lucian's life, it's like I feel bad for him. I really hope in book 6, even though I've firmly planted my Elaine Asriel flag, and that flag is still planted, I'm really hoping we get Lucien point of view chapters, or at least Lucien third person POV chapters, and like get more of his story, because he absolutely deserves a happy ending, you know, like
and for how long he's been kind of like I won't call him a main character, but like a significant character. It's interesting that we didn't get a single POV of his yet. Like that's weird. He's been around for longer than Rhys has.
Yeah,
we got more. We didn't get Lucien.
That's kind of interesting. Lucien actually has been with Feyre kind of the longest. Like he's barely in book 2, but like he's in all of book 1, and then from book 3 on, although he kind of disappears. And this is why I think I felt so meh about Lucien when we were talking about episode 1, because he's barely in Silver Flames. He's kind of barely in Wings of Ruin.
Yeah, and he's just like not really
set up for all this tragedy, and then he just is like, well, I'm of no use here. I'm going to go to the continent.
Yeah, I mean, his mate is like practically a child to him. So, I mean, we'll get to that, but like he's absent. I kind of get why he's absent.
Yeah, it's understandable. It's understandable. All right.
Shall we deep dive?
All right. So I want to talk about this a little bit. Well, I want to talk about it a lot. This is kind of like the Lucien question, right? Are they actually mates? So for context, I'm doing what you do now, and I'm saying context is important. Lucien declares
here.
I have a little bit of context. So Lucien,
we start with what mates are.
God, I can't answer that question. Can you answer that question?
Okay. Well, I have the context on it. No, go ahead. It's fine.
Should we start with what mates are?
Well, I mean, I guess maybe we should start with what we don't know about mates. Like we first learn what mates are from Tamlin. He says they are an equal, a match in every way. He also says they're uncommon and that Fae marry without one. And then later we learn that not even Rhys, who seems to have had an extremely thorough education, knows random languages that nobody else seems to know, might know about other realms, dread trove, etc. He doesn't even know who determines mates. He jokes like the Cauldron, the mother, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And we learn from him and his experience that mates are not always right for each other. And so, like, what are mates? Shrug, like, seemingly a magical tie that might not always be the most correct.
Yeah. I have a note on it. Right. So Rhys says at one point that it's like kind of the Cauldron or the powers that be best guess at producing like the strongest offspring, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to talk about that point, but maybe just for a little more context in case people are like forgetting. So Elaine goes into the Cauldron, comes out. Literally the first thing Lucien says is, "You're my mate," right? Like, so Lucien has declared that they are mates. We know that Elaine does feel a bond to Lucien, right? Because in A Court of Rings and Ruin, chapter 29, Elaine and Lucien are sitting together. They're trying to figure out, they being Feyre, Nesta, Azriel, everyone in Night Court is kind of trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with Elaine because she has started sounding really crazy. And Maja says, have her mate sit with her. Her like mates being mates is a bridge between souls. He might be able to figure out what's going on with her. So they sit together. And at one point, Elaine goes, what was that? And he says, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But like, it was a tug on the bond, right? So there is a bond. She felt it. She said it like felt like her rib, or maybe Feyre said, but like she felt it.
No, Elaine did. Yeah, she said it felt like a tug on her rib.
She said it felt like a tug on her rib. So there's some kind of like physical, metaphysical.
And Lucian like mutters that to himself. He's like,
yeah, it's real.
There's a real thread.
Right. Oh. Lucian is like, there's a bond. It's a real thread. He said more to himself than us. Right. So there is something real between them. Right. Yeah. He certainly thinks it's a mating bond. There's also a moment in Wings of Ruin in chapter 24 where Feyre goes into Lucian's head and reads his thoughts. And he's like, I need to touch her. I need to smell her. I need to taste her. The instincts were a running river. He fisted his hand at his side. So like he is feeling how we're told, but we haven't really gotten a first-person POV on how it feels to be a Fey male and have a mating bond. But like he's feeling how we're told it feels to be a Fey male and to have a mating bond. Basically, this like desire to claim, this desire to possess, and like overriding all of his other thoughts. But even he seems a little. Yeah, go ahead.
We also hear like the two key phrases that we've associated with mates, right? The most beautiful female he'd ever seen, and you are mine and I am yours. Like this claiming that we saw with Feyre and Rhys in his head.
He says that.
That's in his head.
Yeah, he says that in his head.
Yeah.
He says that in his head. He doesn't say it out loud to her. I was like, I don't think they've said that to each other.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
He says because in his head, he's like the chanting, like he has chanting in his head. He's like, mine, you are mine, I am yours, mate.
That's funny because in my mind, the words are actually, I see you, because like Feyre says that to Rhys. She says, I see you. There's other instances where that happens. But what's funny about that is that Cassian finishes Silver Flame saying to Eris, I see you. So I wrote, oh my God, are Cassian and Eris mates? Anyway,
that would be a plot twist.
Anyway, I digress. That is really interesting. Yeah. So he says, you are mine and I am yours in his head. So we know that Lucian is certainly feeling the tug of the bond. We know that Elaine feels a physical tug on the bond. However, there are some clues that they might not actually be mates, right? So first of all, Elaine is literally immediately put off by Lucian. Like she sees him and she kind of cowers. So as the quote is, as Lucian took off his jacket, kneeling before Elaine, she cringed away from the coat from him, right? Contrast this with Feyre meeting Rhys for the first time. He was the most beautiful man I'd ever seen, right? That's Feyre meeting Rhys. Nesta says she had loved Cassian from the moment she met him, right? Those are our other two mated pairs. This is clearly not that, right? Rhys kind of implies that they're not mates. So in A Court of Frost and Starlight, and I will say right out the gate, this is kind of a tricky quote. You could interpret this in a couple ways. Rhys wants to send Azriel to spy on the human queens. Azriel wants to stay and asks Rhys to send Lucian instead. And Rhys says Lucian is busy. And then Rhys says, shouldn't you know that Lucian is busy as my spy master? And Azriel's like, I don't like to spy on Lucian. It feels like a violation of Elaine's privacy, because they're mates. So he says, I don't make a point of looking at his movements. Rhys said, why? Not a flicker of emotion. He is Elaine's mate. I waited. It would be an invasion of her privacy to track him, to know when and if Lucian sought her out, what they did together. And then Rhys says, you sure about that? You sure about that, buddy? So two things could be either, are you sure it's an invasion of his privacy, or are you sure they're mates? Like, that's kind of how I'm reading it, you know? It's kind of open-ended there.
I think my only combat to that one, I agree. I also highlighted that and think it's interesting. In that bonus chapter, Rhys seems pretty adamant that Lucian would have a mating claim over Elaine.
I hate that bonus chapter. I didn't read it.
That bonus chapter actually upset me. We can get into that later.
Yes, again, I should have read the bonus chapter. I didn't read it word for word.
Like, there is a bonus chapter. I think it came out with some like special edition of, I don't even remember what book, where Azriel and Elaine have like a moment and Rhys like snaps Azriel out of it and is like, what do you think you're doing? Like, Lucian could kill you for this, basically. So
yeah, and I'd have to go back and look and say if the wording is tricky. I mean, what I do remember from that bonus chapter that Rhys is like, why do you think that you get Elaine just because me and Cassian are with her sisters. Like, that's
my
pretty
least favorite
fucked up
thing.
that you think that.
Yeah.
I hate that. I mean, a lot of people hate the bonus chapter.
It's like the only thing that Azriel has implied that has made me upset with
I
Azriel.
know.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways.
So that's kind of a point that they're not mates. I also want to talk about the King of Hybern scene when Nesta and Elaine are both being put into the cauldron, because we have in this scene 2 females whose mates are in the room, right? Seemingly.
Yeah.
We have Lucian and Elaine, and then we have Nesta and Cassian, right? So like Elaine goes into the cauldron and Lucian is kind of like, no, stop, don't do this. You know, like he's certainly fighting for her. I don't wanna undersell it.
His motions like mirror Cassian's almost, like seemingly intentionally.
Yes, but not to any extent that Cassian does, in my opinion, right? So like Cassian, for context, Lucian is completely fine. He's completely fine. And he just kind of,
he's being restrained by Hybern.
He's being restrained by Hybern.
Can't break out of that, we learn.
He's uninjured. So I literally wrote, Lucian, who is completely uninjured, is trained in fighting and can winnow. Let's not forget he can winnow. I know we're within the palace, but like he could winnow from one side of the room to the other, right? Kind of tries to fight for Elaine, but like doesn't really do anything. He staggers a step forward, is the exact quote. So he staggers a step forward as Elaine was gripped between 2 guards and hoisted up. She began kicking, weeping while her feet were slammed into the sides of the cauldron as if she'd knock it down. And then Lucian says, that is enough, right? Like, I get it. He's certainly fighting for her. However, Cassian, whose wings have just been shredded, literally like bleeding out on the ground, is like crawling towards Nesta, like fighting unconsciousness. Whenever he hears Nesta's voice, he like his like hand twitches. Like he is doing everything he possibly can to like save her from this fate, right? So like if I were Sarah J. Maas and if I wanted to write this scene where I know I have 2 mated pairs, right? And I wanted to make them equally sympathetic, right? I wanted the audience to be as into both of them. I wouldn't write Lucian this way. Like, I just think Lucian doesn't come off very well in this scene. I think he comes off very unsympathetically. That could just be my opinion. The last point I kind of wanted to make is no one outside Lucian ever says they're mates, right? So we have moments with Rhys and Feyre, and we have moments with Cassian and Nesta where a power outside of them calls them mates. So the King of Hybern knows that Rhys and Feyre are mates when they're in that palace scene that I was just mentioning. And then everyone kind of realized it. Everyone smells it on them, right? Lanthus in the prison is about to reveal that Cassian and Nesta are mates. Lanthus can tell that they're mates. And then Cassian throws a dagger at him to shut him up, which I thought was pretty funny. There's no moment with Elaine and Lucian, right? And maybe we haven't gotten it yet, but also like, again, if I were Sarah J. Maas and I wanted to convince people that these guys were mates, I would have that moment, I think. What do you think?
I do think there are reasons to believe that Elaine and Lucian are not mates. Totally do. She calls a male beautiful. It's not Lucian in this series. I agree with you. Lucian is not portrayed in the classic desperate mate fashion that Cassian and Rhys have been portrayed in. We also haven't gotten very close to him or Elaine as a character yet. So like, I think that door is still open, but I totally agree he's not been put in that kind of desperate light, except when he's like clinging to Feyre effectively and like trying to convince her to get him back to the Night Court with her because that's where Elaine is. And I think there's a potential justification for him not being absolutely feral in those moments because he knows that Feyre would be feral if Elaine were actually in danger. But there's other stuff too. Like Elaine is obviously torn. Like she's obviously not, interested in him. She barely says any words to him. Feyre herself, right, wonders why Elaine and Azriel aren't mates. She's like, why Lucian? Like, who decides this? Why is this right? And everybody else, like, even in the case of Cassian and Nesta, where, like, Nesta is basically viewed as a viper for the entire series, like, everyone kind of just understands. They're like, oh, yeah, this is happening. There's not really that understanding when it comes to Lucian and Elaine. But Cassian is also kind of a member of their family, so I don't know. I think Jesminda is also like a little bit of a wrench in this whole thing. Like, obviously they were not mated, but Lucian, in his own mind, says she's the most beautiful female he'd ever seen. He also said the same to Jesminda once.
Yeah.
So I think there's like potential, confusion in Lucian's path as well. But I also think there's a case for them being mates. Like you said, there is a physical mating bond. We go into Lucian's head, we hear all of these normal kind of things that we hear when people are mates. You are mine, I am yours. She's the most beautiful female I've ever seen. He also brings her to lucidity in a way, in kind of a similar way that Cassian does. Like when he's talking with her and she's not really like speaking, she becomes lucid in specific moments. Like when she's just sitting there and has been saying nothing except for like random predictions, and he starts to talk to her and she has only a few words of lucidity, but she does. I think the most
I was gonna say, I really feel like it's Azriel who does that, but we can get into it later.
Azriel definitely does, and he definitely does. But the most damning point for me for Azriel is Nesta does not alter Elaine's anatomy. And I think that's a point against Elaine being mated to Azriel.
I was going to wait to reveal this, but I was going to wait for the Azriel episode, but I don't think that's a point against it at all.
Okay, why don't you think it's a point against it?
Because
Azriel... he's only half Illyrian?
No, he can't have children. There is a line in Frost and Starlight where Cassian and Azriel are talking, and Cassian says, would you ever want kids? And Azriel says, it doesn't matter what I want. And Cassian is like, I'm not going to push that further, but like, why would he say that? And I don't think Azriel can have children. So I don't think it matters. I know everyone's talking about that, but I'm like, I have a counterpoint.
Yeah, maybe. I have one more point that I think could mean, I think it could go either way. I still think they could be mates. I still think they could maybe not end up together. Like, I think that's on the table. Like, I think there's the possibility that they
that's certainly
are
on the
mates,
table. Yeah.
and they do not end up together. Lucian fully believes that they are mates, right? Elaine, we haven't heard speak on the topic. She's not spoken about it. We've not been in her head. We have no idea what is going on in Elaine's head. We see evidence that she prefers Azriel, that she's wary of Lucian. My bet is it's maybe Elaine who's being manipulated in some way to believe that, or wants to believe that kind of Azriel is her true match, or someone else is her true match, when it's actually Lucian. And the reason I believe that it's more likely to be Elaine is Tamlin's glamour works on Elaine. Lucian's eye seems to see through everything. And so if anybody is right in this kind of like mismatched scenario, I feel like it's more likely to be Lucian than it is to be Elaine.
So you think Elaine is being potentially manipulated by outside forces to not be interested in Lucian for some reason?
For some reason, yeah.
That's intriguing. Can I do my, I have my precog theory is on this, and I kind of just want to do it now because it seems relevant.
Sure.
All right. Early precog theory. Merry Christmas, everyone. All right. So I want to talk about, and again, precog. So this is like, you know, not necessarily, if you're new here, our precog theories are our safe spaces for our craziest theories. I want to talk about Calanmai, right? Okay. So Tamlin refused to participate in the Great Rite when
the second time
when Feyre was in the Night Court, right? And Lucian goes in his place, right? So here's what we know about Calanmai. These are exact quotes from ACOTAR. Tonight, Tam will allow great and terrible magic to enter his body, Lucian says. The magic will seize control of his mind, his body, his soul, and turn him into the hunter. It will fill him with his sole purpose, to find the maiden. From their coupling, magic will be released and spread to the earth while it will regenerate life for the year to come. And then another quote, tonight, Tam won't be the Feyre you know. He won't even know his name. The magic will consume everything in him but that one basic command and need. And what we know would happen when Lucian did the Great Rite in Tamlin's stead was Eonth came in and basically like fucked it up. And she was like, no, I'm going to take advantage of Lucian in this state, right? So like he never found the maiden at Calanmai. What if Elaine is the maiden? Like, what if this is all because Calanmai did not go the way that it was supposed to go? So there is a real, like, tug, a real magic between them, but it's not the mating bond. It's more of this, like, ancient magic. And he's the hunter and she's the maiden, and they haven't, like, had sex. So, like, he's still hunting her. I don't know how that works for, like, the magic being
how does it work for
Tamlin?
Also, like, you think there was a maiden chosen each Calanmai, and like
Elaine
there was the maiden for each Calanmai?
No. There's a maiden every year.
Elaine was the maiden for Lucian's Calanmai.
Yeah, like maybe she was supposed to be the maiden. I don't know why. I don't know why that would be the case, but I'm wondering. We know that Calanmai was fucked up, right? So like, could this be a different explanation for what seems to be a magical tug between them if it's not a mating bond?
That would also work for Tamlin's obsession with Feyre, right? Because he never finds her.
Oh my god, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. Fascinating. We need to think about Calanmai.
But they don't have a physical tug.
But they have sex.
They do have sex, yeah. So you think it all goes away after Lucien and Elaine have sex?
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if we are looking for some kind of explanation for how there could obviously be a physical tug between them, that's not a mating bond. We have this old ancient ritual that got fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Precog corner. It's out there. I know it's out there.
Yeah. It's interesting.
All right. I think we should move on to question 2. Unless you have more.
No, I mean, it can wait.
I actually do have one more thing.
Sure.
Since we are talking about Asriel.
Yeah.
Maja says a mate would be able to figure out what's going on with Elaine.
Yeah.
Asriel is the one who figures out what's going on with Elaine. Right?
Yeah.
So again, to me, that is like neon sign. Hey, pay attention to Asriel here.
Yeah.
Like, it's not Lucian that figures it out. It's not Feyre. It's not Nesta. Asriel is the one who figures out that she is a seer. I'm okay that we're on different pages with this. It's totally fine. Like, it could go either way.
I want to believe that it is Elaine and Asriel. I just have a hard time backing up and believing that because, like, 3 brothers with 3 sisters.
I
really?
know.
And we haven't seen an example of this mating bond, like, not being ideal in this story.
Yeah.
But we know that it's happened with Tamlin's parents and with Rhys's parents. And so, like, I'm okay rooting for Elaine and Asriel to become a thing, even if Elaine and Lucien are mates.
I don't disagree with you.
And I also kind of see a tragic end for Lucien in this story, unfortunately.
I mean, yeah, the thing that sucks is Rhys said she'll always feel that tug. Like, she will always feel it, is what Rhys said.
Yeah.
It would be unfortunate. It doesn't feel like, but that could just be a one-liner that she forgets, that Sarah J. Maas forgets about, you know? It's like, okay, whatever, they're in love.
Well, there could be a million of those.
I know.
Yeah.
Don't I know it?
But, like, Elaine was made. Clearly, they're not on the same page here. So, like, some side is messed up for some reason.
Yeah, something went wrong. Something went wrong somewhere. And we don't know we don't know if it's the mother or the cauldron or the powers that be.
And even like wrong mating bonds still seem like people enter them.
I'm sorry. I had one from that I forgot about. Our 3 brothers, 3 sisters thing, right? This is the point I was referencing all the way at the beginning. If mating bonds are actually meant to be pairing off the strongest genetic pools, and 2 of our Archeron sisters are with Illyrian warriors, wouldn't it make sense that the 3rd Archeron sister would also be with an Illyrian warrior if we're talking about genetics? Isn't there some matchup there that makes sense?
I mean, definitely, but Lucian's genetics are also crazy, to be clear.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And Elaine is different. Elaine is different than her other 2 sisters, certainly.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Do you remember the line in Frost and Starlight where Asriel says, "My shadows don't like the fire"? I just love that one. I think it's a great line. So many layers.
So many layers.
So many layers.
Do you remember when Asriel had to fly Lucien?
Yeah, I do.
That was also a great moment.
On the ice. Great.
Great moment.
Great. All right.
Excellent. Okay.
Ronnie, question 2. We're ready? I feel like we've covered as much as we can.
Sure. Well. Yep. That's fine.
All right. Did Lucien know that Feyre was spying on the Spring Court?
Yes.
Yes. Yes is the. I mean, we actually have it confirmed. Yes. He says he did know.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's talk about maybe why Lucien knew that Feyre was spying on the Spring Court and why he behaved the way that he did following that. I don't have a very long answer for this one. I think it's actually fairly straightforward. Lucien knew that Feyre was deceiving Tamlin within 60 seconds of her doing it because she didn't panic when Mor took her sisters. So we have a direct quote. Lucien spun toward me and that metal eye whirred and narrowed. Again, that metal eye. Like, not much is getting past this metal eye. Centuries of cultivated reason clicked into place. I was not panicking at my sisters being taken. I said quietly, "We will get her back." But Lucien was watching me warily. Too warily. So he, like, to me, I'm like, okay, Lucien is onto her from the second, like, before they even left Highburn, Lucien was onto her and allows it all to happen, which I think is important as well. Okay. Like, just lets it progress. Why are you rolling your eyes?
No, I'm not rolling my eyes. I thought you were going to say, I'm pretty sure the second part of that quote is as if he could see through the glamour I'd put on myself to cover my tattoo, right? Isn't that where she says it?
Yeah.
And he can see it. Yeah. So, like, he knows immediately. I'm not rolling my eyes. I totally agree with you.
He knows everything. He can see through glamour. Like, that's why I think I think fooling Lucian, if someone's doing it, it's really impressive. Okay, because this man can see through all mind work, seemingly.
But you also just proved that he can't see mating bonds, right? Because even though he knows, he doesn't see the mating bond between Rhys and Feyre.
I think he does know. I think he knows. He asks about the mating bond while they're there, while they're at the Spring Court. I think
I guess everyone knows their mates. Everyone knows their mates. Never mind. Keep
well,
going.
I mean, everybody else though thinks that the King of Hybern just broke the mating
Oh,
bond.
right. Just broke it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But Lucian asks her about it when they're in the Spring Court. So, I mean, he knows immediately. Like, he sees her tattoo. He sees the fact that she's not freaking out. They haven't even gone back to the Spring Court yet. He just lets it happen. You could totally argue that he's letting this happen because he knows that Feyre is going to be his only way back to Elaine. And if he believes that he and Elaine are mates, he's very invested in getting back to her. He stays across from her room, and she specifically mentions the fact that she wonders whether his eye can see through the walls and see her in her room. Yeah, I mean, Feyre specifically says, I didn't doubt he'd ensure it. I now stayed across from him. Didn't doubt that the metal eye he possessed was always turned towards my own chambers, even while he slept. And he
it's very
says,
Dolores Umbridge.
I'm surprised you're so calm given your promises in Hybern. Like, I think Lucian could see, he could potentially even see that she was communicating with Rhys during this time. Like, I think he's hyper aware of everything. And he doesn't fall for any of her guilt tricks the way that Tamlin has, right? They're talking about, going to get Elaine, and Feyre says, you'll die the moment you set foot in his territory. Lucian's like, well, I survived when I came to find you. And Feyre tries to kind of, like, in my opinion, she's testing him at this point. She's like, you could see that he had me in thrall. You let him take me back. And Lucian just does not react and is like, I'm not feeling guilty about this. I need to find her.
Right. Because to your point, if his eye can do everything you think he can do, then he saw that Rhys did not have her in a thrall.
Correct.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and he just knows that she's there willingly and that she's still connected to Rhys. He sees the tattoo. He sees that she's not freaked out, that Rhys has her family. Like, he doesn't really need to see anything else other than the fact that she's not terrified. Like, she would do anything for her sisters.
Holy shit. Tamlin is so dumb. Tamlin is so fucking dumb. Feyre literally spent all of book 1 just desperately trying to get back to her sisters.
Back. Yeah.
And now she's not freaking out at all.
If Tamlin is a Daemati, he's a shitty one. Like, are you kidding me? I don't think Feyre played this as well as she thinks that she did, but I totally think that Lucian was completely aware the entire time. It's a lot, right? To, like, conceal this from your best friend, the person who's given you a home for, your entire untitled existence, like from the moment he lost his title and Jesminda died. Tamlin has taken him in, and he is, like, this to me is Fox Lucian. Like, he knows exactly what's happening. He knows exactly what's going on. He's aware that Feyre is spying within the Spring Court, and he's just stealthily keeping an eye on it, and he does not reveal it to Tamlin. Lucian is, like, this is Lucian's Fox moment to me.
I agree with you. I think this is a yes and answer.
Sure.
He certainly knew. No question. He goes along with Feyre's plan.
Yeah.
Like, kind of more than necessary, right? So, like, her plan is to make Tamlin think that Lucian is kind of vying for her affections. And he kind of plays right into it, even though he knows she's up to something, right? So, like, he sits knee to knee with her on the rock when Jurian finds them. So, like, he's, like, touching her. They sleep in the same tent when they're camping with the freaking Hybern incest twins. He helps Feyre off her horse and even, like, gives her a little smirk. Like, he knows she's playing him, and, like, he still plays into it. So I think this is Lucian's Fox moment, but, like, even more than that, I think Lucian is pretty done with Tamlin at this point. Not just because he wants to get to Elaine, but I think he is actually so disgusted about what happened with Hybern and what Eonth did to the Archeron sisters that, like, he's just, like, fucking over Tamlin. Like, he is done with this. Like,
Tamlin went full buddy with Ianthe, who had literally abused him. Like, I don't blame him at all.
She did bad things to Lucian. Like, yeah, certainly.
Horrible.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, it's not just Elaine. It is starting to see Tamlin for who he is at least appearing to be, right?
Yeah.
And just not being on board with it, not being for it.
Yeah.
Which, again, kind of makes you wonder why he didn't grab Feyre in the middle of the night and be like, let's get out of here. Let's go to Night Court. Like, why did he let it play out? I guess he did. He says he didn't want to kick Tamlin while Tamlin was down. So like he clearly still feels some loyalty to Tamlin, but I think he's starting to get. I think he's kind of done with Tamlin at this point. He's at least starting to be.
Yeah. And I also, I mean, I had a similar thought. Lucian could have taken a stronger stance in general, given his power and just like his the trust that Tamlin had in him. I think Lucian's MO, like he is sly. He doesn't like to be the antagonist. He likes to kind of ride alongside somebody so far, right? Ride alongside somebody who is calling the shots and just wants to be on the right side. That's the way he operates with Vasa as well. So Lucian has been Tamlin's sidekick, right? Up until all of this transpires. Lucian waits with Feyre until Feyre makes a move, and then Lucian is kind of forced to go along with it. And then when it comes time to try and go like figure out what's going on with Vasa so that Vasa can help them, Lucian's like, yeah, I'll go do that. And he's going to her, and then she is the driver of everything. So, like, I don't think it's very high lord of him to behave that way, but that seems to be his MO. Like, that's what he's comfortable with. He's not taking, like, a strong, bold stance. He is manipulating in the background and letting other people take the lead on things. Generally.
Yeah, and see, I feel like this gets back to my frustration with his character. Is like in book 1, he felt...
I want to slap him.
But he felt very crafty. He kind of did. And he kind of took more initiative. Like he does help Feyre in Under the Mountain, like you're talking about. And then I feel like book 2 onwards, it's just like backseat. Like whatever you want. I'm just gonna go with it. Like it's fine. You know? And I'm like, why are you being this way? I don't understand what this character arc is, but I'm sure we'll get there.
Yeah.
So I agree. His loyalty to Tamlin is starting to erode. He wants to get back to Elaine. He definitely knew what Feyre was up to. I guess it was the Fabian. I was going to say, how did Ianthe... how the fuck do you say her name? I say
Ianthe. Ianthe.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did Ianthe tie him to a tree? How did she do that? But I guess there was Fabian in the food and she just wasn't eating it. I don't remember. But like, she ties him to a tree. That's how Feyre finds him. And Lucian is pretty powerful. So like, how did that happen?
They're like playing a game. Yeah, she says they're playing a game. They're obviously not. And
no, she's about to sexually assault him.
Yeah, she does have him tied to a tree. But also, Ianthe seemingly doesn't really have any powers. So I don't know how that occurred either.
Yeah. Okay. We won't think too hard about that one.
We'll come back on it. I didn't... No, I mean, not in this episode. I just didn't reread that specific part.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. So, to conclude, did Lucian know that Feyre was spying on the Spring Court? Yes, he did.
Yes.
Thumbs up. He did. All right. Abby. Oh, I love this one. What happened the day that Lucian's lover died?
All right. I'm glad you love this one because I don't have that much, but I'm happy to talk about it. Okay. All right. So the story we get is that Lucian loved a quote unquote commoner. So she was a lesser fairy of the Autumn Court. His father, Baron, who we hate, did not think that she was an appropriate match for... Yeah, Baron's a thumbs down.
Baron's a thumbs down.
Big thumbs
also,
down.
like, looks nothing like any of his sons, which is crazy. He doesn't have red hair.
Baron did not think that Jesminda, which was Lucian's girlfriend's name, was an appropriate match for him, so he butchered her in front of Lucian, and his brothers forced him to watch. Lucian literally says, I heard the moment that her heart stopped beating, right? So this kind of gives us some insight into why Lucian is so sympathetic to Tamlin in Mist and Fury, because he says there was no magic spell, no miracle to bring her back. There were no gathered High Lords to resurrect her. I watched and she died, and I will never forget that moment when I heard her heart stop beating, right? So him and Tamlin went through really similar things where they both watched the woman they loved die, but Lucian's didn't come back. Right, so he understands Tamlin's like desire to keep Feyre safe, to protect her above all else. And so like I think that kind of gives us some insight into why he is the way he is in Mist and Fury. Lucian then flees the Spring Court flees the Autumn Court, gets to the Spring Court border, and then him and Tamlin kill 2 of his brothers. I think he and Tamlin killed 2 of his brothers, but I have to find that quote. I didn't find the quote, but I'm 99% sure that's what happens.
3 went, 1 came back. So 2 of them died. Lucian killed 1, Tamlin killed the other.
Okay, so
what the quote says. Yeah.
We have some family slaughter here, and Rhys tells us that this happened centuries ago. So this happened centuries ago, and Lucian has just been kind of very sad ever since. We do get that quote from when Feyre goes into his head accidentally for the first time, and she talks about how like he's clever, but he's so sad. There's so much sadness in his head. Like he's old and clever and he's sad. Which is very sad for us. We then find out from Eris in the Hewn City in Silver Flames when Nesta and Cassian and Rhys and Feyre are meeting with Eris and Kier that we don't actually know anything that happened that day. So I think, or sorry, Mora's there too. But I think someone says to Eris, like, oh, what about the day that Lucian's lover died? Like, did you protect him then? Were you a good brother then? And he says, you know nothing of what happened. You know nothing. A favorite fantasy quote. You know nothing of what happened that day. He says, Eris says he wasn't one of the brothers who forced Lucian to watch. He refused, and his father punished him for it. We, of course, know that Baron has tortured Eris in the past. We find that out at the end of Silver Flame, so we can assume that Eris was tortured for refusing to participate in this. It says by the time he got free, he heard that his father was going to punish Lucian. He was the one who actually got Lucian to the Spring Court border and made sure that Tamlin got word anonymously to get to the border, where Tamlin and Lucian then each killed a brother apiece. So this is a really interesting Eris situation here, right? Because how did Eris get word to Tamlin? Like, what are his, like, he says he got word to Tamlin anonymously, right? So, like, how does he have some kind of network of spies that could get to Tamlin? Like, how did that happen? And why was Eris willing to save Lucian's life at the expense of the lives of two of his other brothers, right? He clearly doesn't feel this loyalty to all of his brothers. Why is he specifically okay with Lucian being alive, right? Like, does he know that Lucian is only his half-brother and not actually, it's kind of implied, right? That he knows that Helion is actually Lucian's father. But, like, how does he know? There's always these questions around Eris, and I do think we're going to do an Eris deep dive, but, like, how does he know everything he knows, right? Like, what the fuck is going on? And being a Daemati, if he is a Daemati, does not explain how Eris knows everything he knows. So that's kind of where I didn't really have any theories on this one, but I do think it's an interesting thing to chat about.
Yeah, I mean, I think what Eris did is super interesting. I also just think like the Jesminda story is interesting. So like you said, she was a lesser fairy, and we've not really seen many high, like she was not high fae, and we haven't seen that many high fae lesser fairy romances unless you count the Illyrians, which are the only like human-like species that we've seen that are lesser fairy, that we've seen in a relationship with a high fae. So we know that Jesminda was lesser fairy. We don't know what kind she was. I assumed that she was not Illyrian. What she was, unclear. We know that Jesminda was nothing like Elaine. She was laughter, mischief, wild, free, born in the country, and had teased him and taunted him and seduced him so thoroughly that he hadn't wanted anything but her. So like that's the way that Jesminda is described in Lucian's mind, right? So that's how he saw Jesminda. So what happened to Jesminda? I want to talk about a quote that you already said, and this is crazy. Like this should be a precog corner theory, but like we have a question on it, so I'm not going to make it a precog corner theory. Eris says, right, you know nothing about what happened that day. They were going to kill Lucian. I made sure that they didn't. Made sure Tamlin got word anonymously to get the hell over to his own border. Does that mean that Tamlin was in his lands, or that Tamlin was in the Autumn Court?
I assumed it meant Tamlin was in the Spring Court and just needed to go to the border to get Lucian. But like
over to his own border, though.
Walk me through it. Walk me through what you're thinking.
I'm just thinking, okay, made sure Tamlin got word to get the hell over to his own border. His own border implying like he's either at a border or in lands that are not his own. Like, why his own border? And if Tamlin was there, I mean, maybe two things, actually. If Tamlin was there, everything's called into question, right? Because Tamlin can turn anyone into anything. So, like, that's number one. Two, if Tamlin, like, why did Eris think that Tamlin would take Lucian in? Like, why was Tamlin the answer? Just because he was the neighbor?
Why was Spring Court the answer?
I mean, they're neighbors.
Why not
like,
Tarkin?
That could be fair. Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess Tarkin wasn't in power yet. I think that second question is really, really interesting. I don't have an answer. Do you have an answer?
Not on the Tamlin part. I think on the if he was there part, like, or actually even if he wasn't there, this is a like popular, well, I don't think this exact theory is popular, but there is a popular hypothesis that Lucian and Gwyn are tied together, right? Have you seen this theory? Okay. So Gwyn is 1/4 river nymph. This theory is like it also could be a precog corner theory, to be clear. But Gwyn's grandmother is river nymph. So she is 1/4 river nymph, majority high fae. And what we understand about Gwyn's lineage is her grandmother was a river nymph who seduced a high fae male from the autumn court. She says, so I'm a quarter nymph, but it's enough for this. And Gwyn gestures to her blue eyes. And like that's apparently the part of her that's river nymph. Her mother was unwanted by either of their people. She could not dwell in the rivers of the spring court, but was too untamed to endure the confinement of the forest house in autumn. So she was given in her childhood to the temple at Sangrava, where she was raised. She partook in the great rite when she was of age, and Gwyn and her sister were the result of that union with a male stranger, and she never found out who he was. The magic chose him. Lucian has been to Sangrava, and we know this because when Feyre is in his mind, he notices the carpet in the library and says, this is from Sangrava, if the patterns in the rich dyes were any indication. So I actually think he might be Gwyn's grandfather. Gwyn is 28, which is very young for high fae. Jesminda was lesser fairy. If Jesminda was the river nymph who seduced, like the same word is used, right? Like the same word is used to describe Jesminda seducing Lucian and Gwyn's grandmother who seduced a high fae male from the autumn court. Could Lucian be Gwyn's grandfather? A lot of people think that Lucian is Gwyn's father, that he basically was the high fae male stranger.
No, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because he knew Jesminda. So like they would have been
right. He wouldn't have
friends.
It wouldn't have been a great right thing. It would
Yeah. He still could have feasibly done that, and it just wasn't Jesminda, right? Like the mother wasn't Jesminda. But like this is the only other lesser fairy high fae relationship we're being notified of, and they have the same color hair.
Okay. Yeah.
So maybe
of course I love this. Yes.
Maybe Jesminda didn't die. Maybe Jesminda did, but they had an illegitimate child, and that was what spurned everything. Or not.
I need to process this. Give me a second.
Yeah, we can take a second.
Oh, fuck.
I think
So do you think Jesminda didn't die that day? Because Eris does say that we knew nothing. We know nothing of what happened that day.
Yeah, I mean, if Tamlin was there, I think we have a shot at Jesminda not having died. In which case,
because
that's kind
you
of
think
cruel.
Someone might have taken her place.
Someone might have taken her place.
But wouldn't Lucian have known?
Yeah, that's cruel of Tamlin. Well, he wouldn't have known if there were no mating bond, right?
But he can see through glamours.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
So
he didn't have his eye yet. He didn't have his eye yet.
Oh,
Never
he didn't
mind.
have his eye. Yeah,
Never
you're
mind.
right. Actually, I wrote that down. Yeah, he did not have his eye yet. He did not lose his eye until the 50 years prior when, like, Amarantha's whole court started. So he did not have those abilities. So she could have died as somebody else, meaning Jesminda didn't die. Maybe she went on to bear these children, or this child. Sorry, there's only one child. Or maybe she did die and she had already borne them.
I really like this because there's definitely the way the Gwyn's story is written. It feels like we're going to get a reveal about her father, or well, her father is who it feels like. But it would be interesting if that was actually about her grandfather.
Yeah, and I mean, Lucian and Gwyn haven't been like put together in this story yet, right? But we know that Lucian has been to Sangrava, and only Gwyn's mother was in Sangrava, right? So I wonder whether, like, Lucian could have known about these children and known about what happened in Sangrava and presumed them dead, honestly.
Okay, and this is interesting too, because that means that Gwyn is also descended from Helium and Daycourt.
Yeah.
And there is a moment where Nesta feels Gwyn's power and her power rises to meet it.
Yeah. So to me, Gwyn and Lucian are tied either way. I think he's the grandfather, though. I think he's Gwyn's grandfather. And that is contrary to the popular theory on the internet that he is Gwyn's father.
I'm so happy we didn't cut this question.
Right?
I've never seen this. I've truly never seen this theory. That's wild. I've seen
it once. Maybe I shouldn't say it's popular. I've seen it once.
I love it. Okay. And why would we get the like nugget that this happened centuries ago? Because Rhys specifically says this happened centuries ago.
Yeah. And Lucian is a little under 500. So the math.
Yeah, he wasn't alive for the war, I don't think.
He couldn't.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. Yeah.
So in conclusion, I think Jesminda is Gwyn's grandmother.
Okay, so the grandmother was a river nymph. Her grandmother was a river nymph and had a baby with a male from the autumn court.
Seduced a high fae male from the autumn court. I
Seduced
hypothesized
a
they had
high
baby.
fae male from the autumn court. And then Gwyn's mother, I know Gwyn's mother went to the temple.
She was given to the temple at Sangerville because neither of them wanted her.
Well, but we've met river nymphs, right? Or no, we've met water wraiths.
Water wraiths. Yeah, we've
Different.
not met a river nymph. Gwyn is our token river nymph. If Jesminda's not dead, it's really cruel of Tamlin for him to just allow Lucian to think that Jesminda
Unless Tamlin doesn't know and Eris knows.
But who would have shifted someone to look like Jesminda?
I don't know. I don't have the answers, but
I don't know. And maybe this whole thing doesn't work. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's nothing at all.
No, I'm 100% convinced this is something.
Yeah.
I just think we don't know the exact mechanics of it yet, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Great.
Great.
This has been a wild episode so far. All right, Ronnie, why doesn't Lucian save Feyre from the Naga?
So, context is important. Feyre goes to hunt the Suriel, and Lucian is the first person who tells her how to trap it. He then sort of commits to her that he'll be hunting on the grounds. He might help her if she gets into trouble. He says it's all very loosey-goosey because he's like, if Tamlin catches me telling you how to ensnare the Suriel, I'm dead. He tells her to trap it with a dead chicken. We later find out, because context is important, that Alice is like, I think her exact words are, dead chicken, my sagging ass, like next time you come to me, and it will go for a robe, right? So that's all after the fact. Feyre traps the Suriel, and then the Naga come find her. She has a conscious thought, right? Screaming for Lucian. Like, she screams specifically with the intent that Lucian will come, but Tamlin saves her. This isn't going to be a very long answer on my part. I think I have two ideas for why Lucian did not save her. So Lucian doesn't come, right? He later kind of shows remorse for hesitating. My first idea is that Lucian has been playing a game maker role in the Spring Court. So he specifically says, hey, trap the Suriel with a dead chicken, knew the Naga would come at the smell of blood, and knew that Tamlin would be hunting the Naga on the grounds. So he basically led Tamlin to save Feyre. That was the first, peacemaking moment between them, is Tamlin saving her life from the Naga. So my first thought is Lucian just did this intentionally. He was playing, Feyre was a pawn, Tamlin was a pawn. This is how you could catch a Suriel. It's also, by the way, going to attract Naga, and Tamlin's going to notice that you're in distress, and this is going to kick off this series of events that could lead to all of us being free. Lucian doesn't really seem to get on this page of hey, we should start using Feyre until they confirm that Feyre isn't in love with anybody else, basically. So I think that's a very solid option one. Option two, maybe do you want to react to option one first? Do you agree with it or disagree with it?
I love the idea of it. I don't have theories about this the way that you do. I think it's more of a character-driven thing, but I like your theories. Let's keep going.
Okay, yeah, I mean, the second theory is not very complicated. Just Lucian cared for Andras a lot. And we never really talk about that. Andras was someone special to him. He maybe just in his heart harbored this hatred still for Feyre for killing his friend. So he asks Tamlin, is Andras dead? And Tamlin says, I'm sorry. And then they talk about kind of his death, and he's spitting venom. Lucian is spitting venom. He's so mad that Andras is dead and that this human, flimsy, mortal girl killed him. And he specifically says, well, now we're stuck with that thanks to your useless mercy, and you've ruined, and then we never find out what Tamlin ruined. I don't have a theory on that quote, but he's mad. So maybe he just really cared for Andras. Maybe Andras was someone very special to him, and he didn't care whether Feyre lived or died. He cared more about Andras and was kind of just doomed either way. Those are my ideas.
I had two similar ideas. So the first one, it pretty much lines up with your Andras idea, but it's less specific. Lucian has kind of a real anti-human bias in book one. He's kind of a super elitist dick in book one. So literally Feyre says after this all happens, she says, if you still want me dead, you might have to try a bit harder. Lucian loosed a breath. That's not what I intended. I wouldn't shed any tears, he amended, but what happened to you, ... Right? So Lucian doesn't really care. He also has a line. Let me see if and then there's a line where Feyre is kind of asked, asking Lucian if he has any powers. And he says, I don't clean everything in sight or lure mortars to a watery death or grant you answers to whatever questions you might have if you trap me. And then he says, we just exist, we being the High Fae, to rule. Which I'm like, that's a fucking dick line, Lucian. Like, no one else says
Yeah.
anything like that at any other point in this book. Like, even Tamlin doesn't say shit like that. Like, why? But, you know, Lucian was raised in the Autumn Court, who are huge dicks. So it's kind of like, okay, maybe
Yeah.
that's where this is coming from. But we also know that Baron, despite his faults, did side with the humans in the war 500 years ago. So it's kind of like, where is this coming from?
Yeah.
I think, like, so that's the first option, kind of this, like, anti-human bias. We
Mhm.
also talked about Lucian has a big fear. Like there's this undercurrent of fear in Lucian's character in Thorns and Roses and Mist and Fury, right? Like he's kind of scared of Tamlin. Feyre even says to him, "You saw what was happening to me, but you were too afraid of him to truly do anything about it." So like he's scared there.
Yeah.
He says he was scared of the Naga. Like he's like, "I'm sorry, I hesitated." Like it was kind of like fear.
Yeah.
I think there's also Jesminda kind of playing into this, right? Like he's scared to get attached, even in just a friendship way, to a lesser being, basically, right? To something
Yeah.
that's more fragile and
Yeah.
can die, like kind of so easily. And
I mean,
think,
Lucian's trauma cannot be understated. Like,
no,
he is
no,
a broken man.
right.
Male.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
So I think that's a piece of it. And then I think Feyre saving the Suriel, so this exact scene, is actually a huge turning point for him because he realizes that Feyre also cares about lesser fairies, quote unquote, the way that he has in the past, right? And that's when he kind of starts to like humanize her. He gives her his hunting. I think he actually gives her 2 hunting knives, but in this scene, he gives her a hunting knife.
Yeah.
I think he kind of starts to see her as more than just like human trash, basically. But yeah, I mean, I love the idea of him being a little matchmaker.
Yeah.
That's the most fun theory here.
He's clever, but I agree with you. I think he's also just like he's figuring himself out in A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Yeah.
Like in that first book, he's basically just like clinging in fear to whatever family he has that's willing to take him. Yeah. There might not be a more complex explanation than that.
Well, I like
He's
the
just scared.
matchmaker idea because he says to Tamlin, like, you're doing nothing. You're just sitting here. Like,
Yeah,
you're doing
I know.
fucking nothing.
Yeah.
So I like the idea that he would take matters into his own hands and kind of manipulate this surreal encounter with a dead chicken. By the way, when you picture the dead chicken, does it have feathers on or not?
On, but cut open and bleeding.
See, I just picture like a roast.
A rotisserie chicken?
Yeah. I mean a raw chicken, but just like a whole roast chicken. Because you got it from the kitchens.
Yeah, but we also have seen Tamlin in the kitchens with like an entire like
But he didn't have any
beast.
staff. He has staff now.
I see what you're saying. Maybe a prepared chicken, but I think in order to attract the Naga, it would have been. I think there needed to be
this
blood.
is kind of what I'm getting at. I pictured it much more civilly than you did,
Yeah,
but I think your way totally worked.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so in conclusion, he could have been a sly fox, not saving her from the Naga, or he could have just been a coward.
Well, what's interesting is we do get a line in Mist and Fury. Granted, this is after he has his powers back, right? But we do get a line in Mist and Fury that Lucian hunted down 5 Naga on his own. So it's not an ability question. He could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucian is keeping some stuff quiet. He's keeping some stuff quiet. Yeah. So, Abby, will Lucian become a High Lord?
All right. So, I mean, the first answer I put here is like, yeah, probably. Otherwise, this wouldn't really be an interesting plot point. Like, he probably will. The reason I wanted to have this question is because we are told that there are like physical indications that a High Lord's heir will become their heir. We're told son, but we know it doesn't really need to be a son. That's sexist nonsense. When Feyre goes to Mist and Fury at the beginning of book 2 and she folds a fork in half with her bare hands, Rhys is like, did you know that you're exceptionally strong for a Fae?
Yeah.
And you're exhibiting the signs of like what a High Lord heir would be exhibiting. Also, funny story. I don't know if you remember this. We see Alice also bend a fork in half at one point. So I'm like, this is inconsistent. But it's fine. It's fine. We love it anyway. So we also learn from Cassian and Silver Flames that sometimes the like hereditary line, the magic that goes along with it, quote unquote, finds a cousin instead or skips the bloodline entirely. So even though Lucian is the son of Helion, he might not become a High Lord. Like the magic just might not work that way. So the question is kind of, we know that the physical indications are usually strength and speed, right? So like, have we seen from Lucian these physical indications that would make it seem like he will become a High Lord's son? Yes, think so, but like not in any kind of like big way. So we know that Lucian is like way faster than most high Fae. Like he literally runs Feyre back from the hells of Calanmai. And
Hmm.
this is book one, so we don't really think of it, but like he's not winnowing. He's literally running. And we don't see
Hmm.
any other high Fae ever do that ever. Like this seems to be kind of unique to Lucian. We also see him in ACOTAR catch fish in a stream with his bare hands. So like that's not really a strength thing, that's more of an agility thing. But
Yeah.
there's like these little clues and indications throughout that he like kind of has this strength and speed, but there's not like a moment. You know, there's not like Lucian hasn't had his like big hero moment, and he maybe just hasn't had it yet. But like
Yeah.
even Rhys doesn't realize that Lucian is Helian's son, right? So like
Right.
whatever those like we know that Rhys and Tamlin both have to put like glamours on themselves, right? To kind of like hide their
Dampen
power.
their
Like
power. Yeah.
Rhys isn't seeing that with Lucian, right? He doesn't realize like who he is, which is kind of crazy. But we also know that his brothers think he might have the makings of an heir, right? So
Yeah, because they try to kill him. Yeah.
in ACOTAR, we found out that he was the seventh son, right? So he was never supposed to really learn the skills to become a High Lord, kind of similar to Tamlin. But he learned how to study. He did a lot of studying and he learned how to fight. And then he says, and when I grew bored with studying and fighting, I learned what I could of the land from its people, learned about the people too. And then Feyre says, I'd say that sounds more High Lord like than the life of an idle, unwanted son. And then Lucian says, did you think it was mere hatred that prompted my brothers to do their best to break and kill me? So seemingly his brothers realize he's some kind of a threat. They think that he has the makings of a High Lord.
Yeah.
But not Eris. We know that Eris saved his life. So Eris knows that he's not a threat to Eris's title for whatever reason.
Mhm.
So we don't know. We don't know if Eris knows. We don't know if all the brothers know. It's kind of unclear to me, actually, the way that it's phrased. Maybe you have a better thought on this. Whether the Autumn Court High Lord knows. I mean, I think he knows that Helion is Lucian's father, but I don't know
Yeah.
if his brothers know.
Yeah, I don't think his brothers know. I
Yeah.
think Eris does, as you mentioned. I think Baron definitely does, and just like keeps it quiet because it's humiliating for him to share, right? That
Right.
his wife slept with Helion. Tough look for Baron. Yeah, I mean, I think like Lucian has also demonstrated like he has Helion's powers.
Yeah. For
I
sure.
think Lucian is hiding powers. Like we've talked about how Tamlin's hiding his wind power. I think Lucian is hiding his I think he knows. I think he knows that he's Helion's son. Everyone like there are a bunch of people on the internet who are like, someone's got to tell Lucian that he's Helion's son, like he's already been through so much trauma. I think that Lucian knows. Like we see him wield the spell cleaving power in Highburn when he
Yeah.
breaks free of his wards and walks towards Elaine. Like there is, in my opinion, a really hard case to justify that he has no idea.
Why wouldn't he seek Helion out? Like, why wouldn't he go to
Yeah.
Daycourt?
I mean, this guy's got so much trauma.
He's
He has
looking
daddy
for a
issues.
home. Like,
I know. But like Helion doesn't know, and so like could he face another father that doesn't want him? Like I don't know,
yeah,
I think that's complicated. But Lucian has Helion's powers in no uncertain terms. Like if anyone was uncertain from that moment, I think it's fairly obvious when he breaks free of his wards. Feyre tells us that her light, like her white bright light, is Daycourt. And then we see Lucian, wield that same exact white light.
So wait, I thought, and I had to go back and read this a couple times. I have two thoughts on what you just said. One, I'm going to go back again to Rhys not knowing. Rhys was there
Yeah.
when Lucian broke the spells, and Rhys did not realize what the fuck was going on, right? So I don't know.
I don't
I don't
think
know.
Rhys did, but I think that Tamlin did. The quote was, there was a flare of light and a scrape, and then Lucian was stalking towards Elaine, freed of his restraints. Tamlin remained leashed on the ground, a gag of white iridescent magic in his mouth now. I think that's Lucian's, but his eyes were on Lucian as Lucian took off his jacket, kneeling before Elaine. I think Tamlin knew in that moment, at
You're
least.
nailing this episode. Your theories this episode are so fucking good.
I'm obsessed with Lucian. To be clear, like I think that in that moment Tamlin knew, and to me that legitimizes like maybe Rhys just I don't know why Rhys didn't know.
Okay, so what are the implications if Tamlin knows? Does that change anything?
Him? No, I don't think so. I mean, he's been harboring Lucian. I think like, well, you want to like, should I just pile on another crazy theory while we're at it?
Yes, I feel like I had another follow-up thought. I'm not clear on the light power because I thought sometimes the light is from Daycourt. Sometimes the light is the healing power of Dawncourt. Lucian clearly uses the light to break a spell. But then when Feyre uses the light to break a spell, he said, I know that's bullshit. Like, because remember, because like Feyre does a big white light as like a trick, and then it's like,
on
wait,
Ianthe, yeah.
What? No, not on Ianthe. In the King in Highburn. When she's like
when
pretending that
it,
Rhys, he's
Yeah.
like, I know that the white light doesn't break spells. I have a friend from Dawn Court. She doesn't do that. Like it's all really weird. I don't know. I don't know that I'm going anywhere with this, but I feel like the light is used inconsistently, is what I'm trying to say here.
I think the light is used inconsistently because even Amarantha's power is described as white light at a certain point. So I don't know if there's like too much to focus on with white light just as white light, but like Feyre has described it as day, like when she's glowing it's day, and we know that there's flashes of white light when spells are being broken.
Yeah. All right, so what's your second crazy theory?
So you talked about, maybe we just skip precog, because like my whole episode, it turns out, is precog theories. You've already talked about how the power of High Lords don't always keep to bloodlines. Like sometimes they skip bloodlines entirely. That could be a justification for Lucian not necessarily being Helian's heir. I think there's a chance that Lucian is Tamlin's heir as well. Who else is Tamlin's heir?
Well, this is the question. Who the fuck is Tamlin's heir?
And the reason that I think that it's Lucian is not just because the Lucian is the only one who's been by Tamlin's side for this entire time, even still tries to be, even after he ditches him. He stands in for him at Calanmai. And that makes me think that Lucian is also Tamlin's heir. So if he doesn't become a High Lord of Day, could he become a High Lord of Spring? I don't know.
It's interesting, maybe, because like the magic chooses, right? But like if the magic chose him that night, and then that would kind of line up with Elaine's like spring imagery and have it not be Tamlin.
Yeah. I like him going to Day better. Like I think he deserves to find his actual like loving family, and I think that Helian would be a good dad ultimately. But he's also been like in this position as Tamlin's right hand, and Tamlin doesn't have anybody else.
Yeah. I saw a theory that I absolutely hated, and it was like, Rhys and Feyre are together, we're getting set up for Lucian and Elaine. What if Cassian dies and Nesta ends up with, Eris. Nesta ends up with Eris, and then Eris becomes the High Lord of Autumn Court, and now we have 3 High Ladies. And I was like, you shut your fucking whore mouth. No, but like, that's just not, Sarah J. Maas just doesn't write that way. That's just not going to happen. Like, once the pairs are paired, they're paired. Like, you know? All right, fuck it. My hair is just going down.
I would be I want Eris to come out on top. I would be so mad if we broke up Cassian and Nesta in the process.
It simply won't happen. It's
0 out of
simply
10.
not possible.
Yeah, their story is well-rounded at this point. Like, Elaine can be up for grabs.
Well, this is why it's so fun. I know it's kind of like weird that we're starting with Tamlin and Lucian, but like it's fun because their stories aren't done. You know, like Rhys and Feyre, it's like there's not really that much to talk about theory-wise. I mean, there is, but like, you know what I mean? Like, we still have more to talk about with them. On that note, do we have anything else ACOTAR specific?
No. So I think we are moving into the Massverse section of this episode. If you have not read all of Throne of Glass and all of Crescent City, if you've not read all of ACOTAR, you shouldn't be here. I don't know what you're doing here. If you've not read all 3 series in their entirety, stop, go no further. We love you. We'll even say love you bye, just like so that you feel like you completed the episode. But if you've not read all of those, this is the part where we're gonna start talking about it. So spoiler warning. Throne of Glass spoilers, Crescent City spoilers, and ACOTAR spoilers from here on out.
And you guys even got some great pre-cog theories this week, so you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, Ronnie.
Yes.
Given everything we learned in Throne of Glass, are Lucian and Elaine truly mates?
So we talked enough about this earlier to give folks like something, right? Like if you have read Throne of Glass, you were probably thinking the same thing we were thinking when we talked about the first question. Are Lucian and Elaine truly mates? We have a situation in Throne of Glass where there has been a faked mating bond, a pretty successfully faked mating bond. Maeve faked a mating bond between Rowan and Lyria in Throne of Glass. We were not there for the first person description or even third person description of this mating bond, so we didn't see all of the intricacies that worked, that didn't work, but it was believable enough, right, that Rowan kind of went mad after Lyria died. And for a refresher, because I know a lot of people probably reread ACOTAR for this season, maybe not Throne of Glass, Maeve says to Elain, "It was so easy to tug on the right psychic thread that day Rowan saw Lyria at the market, to shove him down that other path, to trick those instincts, a slight altering of fate." And so that line I think is important, because that's not like somebody creating, something fake, like some fake bond. Like you're actually just playing puppet, like easy to tug on the right psychic thread. So if this mating bond, and again, we didn't see it firsthand, if this mating bond did act like a real mating bond, then in that case, Lucian, assuming that he can't, break through all of that with his eye necessarily, could be feeling the exact same things. Those tugs could feel real, and it could all be fake. It could all 100% be fake. And then Rowan, like, kind of later thinks about it and says to himself, "She had gone into my head, tricked me into thinking that Lyra was my mate, and had fooled the very instincts that made him a Fey male." And so why is this important for this novel, right? We have a strong hypothesis that the King of Hybern and Amarantha are Valg, and Maeve was Valg, inhabiting a Fey body. And so this all kind of sets this up the same way. I guess my one part where I get stuck here, admittedly, is that this is all persisting when the King of Hybern and Amarantha are both dead. So if this is happening and it's faked, who's doing it? And I don't know whether you have thoughts on it. I don't have thoughts on it. Like, I don't know who could be doing it.
I do have thoughts on it.
Okay.
But I don't know that this is a Valg character. So it's funny. I have literally the exact same quote you wrote. I can't say who I think is doing it without saying why I think they might be doing it, kind of.
Okay.
But I think Koschei, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Koschei.
I say Koschei. Yeah, I don't know.
Is a possibility here. I don't know who else it would be, or it would be another character that we haven't met yet, which is always possible, right? Like, she introduces characters way later in books. If it's a faked mating bond, I think it has to be Koschei doing it. I'm not saying that Koschei is Valk. I want to be clear. I don't know that, but he's definitely something very powerful. Could be Koschei.
It could be Koschei. It could be somebody else who has Valg abilities, I suppose. We've talked about people being Valg descended in this series. I think that could be on the table as well. And it could be, I mean, let's be honest, like we know that the borders of this realm are not closed, right? Like, we know that people are in and out of this from Crescent City, right? Like, the door has been opened and Bryce shows up. So is there something else? Are there other Daglin, Valg coming in and out that have the ability to fake this mating bond?
Okay. I have some thoughts on why it may be faked. So it's either being faked to keep Lucian away from his true mate, or to keep Elaine away from her true mate, right? I don't really see any reason to keep Lucian away from his true mate, but you've talked about a lot of interesting things today. I think maybe I would rethink that, but I'm not really sure that I'm convinced that this is really about Lucian. I think it might be, because we know I love him, I think it might be about Azriel. And I think it might be about keeping Azriel away from his true mate, because we're not necessarily going to get into this in this episode. It seems very likely that Elaine and Azriel are both Starborn, right? Like, they're both able to wield Truth Teller. They're both, like, we get a lot in Crescent City about Azriel. As Azriel is confirmed as Starborn, and there's a lot of imagery around the Archeron sisters. We're going to do an Archeron family deep dive. We'll talk about it. But we know at the very least that Nesta and Elaine can both wield Truth Teller, right?
Yeah.
If this conjoinment of two Starborn people is, like, too powerful for some power that be, is that why this bond is being manipulated? Except that we might also have it with Rhys and Feyre, right? So, like, that's why it maybe wouldn't work. But Azriel seems to be more important in this Starborn story than Rhys so far, for whatever reason. I don't know where she's going with it, but it seems like that's kind of my thinking. That if this might be a Starborn thing, it might be an Asteri thing, manipulating them rather than a Valg thing. We know from Crescent City that the Starborn power combines and amplifies depending on what source you have. So, like, if you combine two Starborn powers, like, maybe it's just too much. I don't know. But that's kind of my thinking.
Yeah.
And we talk about, or go ahead.
I think I am a fan in general, and I didn't really connect it to the mating bond, but I like that you did, of the concept that Azriel is being purposefully stifled. Like, he's been stifled his entire existence, right? Like, he's been locked up as a child, like, not really able to come into his full abilities. He's different from everybody else. Like, these shadows are not of this world that he has. And so I like the idea of, like, kind of keeping him off the path of his destiny, and in doing that, like, getting him away from Elaine. I guess my question, like, I do think that Rhys is starborn. Like, he's got
Right.
star imagery everywhere. And so how would he not detect this?
This fucking with the mating bond?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that he would detect it, but I don't know. We certainly don't have enough. This is kind of a precog corner theory. But like, and Rhys even has the line like Azriel is more like me than anyone realizes, right? Like Rhys is certainly starborn. There's really no question there. Like Selene looks just like him. So the question is Feyre also starborn, or is Elaine? We know Elaine is like different than her other two sisters, right? So is she somehow starborn and they're not? I don't really think so. I think they're all starborn. I don't know. Just a thought, really. That if this is really a mating bond that's being fucked with, it's actually about Azriel. It's not about Lucian.
Yeah. I want it to be true. I'm curious how it all works out, right? Like Elaine is Elaine.
That's what Rhys
She's
says.
not, I know, but like she,
And what does
so
that
many
mean?
people. Yeah, I don't know. Like sweet, perfect, hard to be mad at, loves her flowers. This is not giving, hell vibes or like starborn vibes. I guess it is giving starborn vibes, but Asriel's very well. I guess what is it? Who's Thea's?
Peleus? Or her
Yeah.
actual? Adis.
Yeah, Adis. Yeah, Prince Adis. So I guess there is like some parallels there. Yeah, we're gonna talk way more about this when we talk about Azriel.
We're gonna talk so much more about this. We're going to talk so much more about this. This is not our Elaine episode. It's not our Azriel episode either. So we'll table it for now, which is why I kind of don't have answers to your questions, because I didn't think it through that thoroughly. I was just thinking, if we're faking this mating bond, why are we faking this mating bond?
Yeah. All right, Abby, where do Lucian's abilities come from?
All right. I don't have that. I don't have that interesting an answer to this question. Obviously, we've already talked about the spell cleaving, which comes from Helion. I think when we're talking about firepower, though, which Lucian does have through his mother, we kind of have to think about Elain. And I know you mentioned last book that Elain gave her powers up, so that maybe explains if Tamlin is an Elain descendant. He doesn't have fire, but Lydia has fire.
Lydia has fire, but Lydia only mentions Brannon.
Lydia does only mention Brannon, but Elain is like Brandon's descendant, so I don't know.
Yeah, it could have still been passed through Elain, but like at that point, if Lydia knows of Brannon, the timelines in this whole thing are so I don't know. Yeah, but Lydia mentions Brannon. Yeah.
Right. So there's no like physical indication that Lucian is related to Elain, right? He doesn't have any of her physical characteristics that we usually talk about. Same with his mother. Like he doesn't have ash driver blue eyes. He doesn't have blonde hair or anything like that. But so Elain gets her power from Mala Firebringer, right? Mala Firebringer is a goddess who comes to the throne of glass worlds and falls in love with Elain's grandfather, I think. And basically the fire line goes through her. There's a lot of talk in this book about long forgotten gods, right? So I'm like, okay, did the gods also come to this world at one point and then leave? So it's not necessarily Elain, but maybe it's Mala Firebringer also being in this world and like kind of spawning the Autumn Court. And that would be interesting too. I haven't done this, but if we could tie each of these powers to a god in Throne of Glass and see if all the powers came down that way.
Yeah, I would need to like brush up on my gods, but yeah.
Throne of Glass is just such a beast. So I think it's an interesting idea that maybe Mala Firebringer was also here doing the same shit that she did with Throne of Glass World, which would mean, kind of to your point, Lucian is way more powerful than we've been led to believe thus far, right? Lucian has way bigger of a role to play here. Eris might also have way bigger role. Well, Eris definitely does, but like the fire line in general would be very interesting. There's also a moment, this is just kind of an aside, when Feyre and Lucian are trapping his brothers in the cave in the Autumn Court, there's a moment, and this is really weird, and I don't necessarily think this, but there's a moment where she seems to charge him up like they're Karanam, which is how I pronounce that word. I don't know how you pronounce it.
I don't have a pronunciation for it. Honestly, I've never said it out loud.
Yeah, but just to remind everyone, Karanam is when in Throne of Glass, two ancient Fey warriors, like basically they can charge each other up. Like you cut yourself and you hold hands and one can give his power or her power to the other Fey warrior. So the moment is run, I gasped out, but Lucian was already at my side, a steadying hand under my arm as I burned that flame hotter and hotter. It wouldn't keep them contained for long, and I could indeed feel someone's power rising to challenge mine. But there was another force to wield, so Lucian is that force. Lucian understood the same moment I did. Sweat simmered on Lucian's brow as a pulse of flame-like power slammed into the stones just above us. I threw any trickle of magic into Lucian's next blow, his next. So Feyre is literally charging Lucian up the way that Rowan charges Aelin up when they're fighting the Valk princess. I don't know, the Valk. I don't know if they're carrying him the way that it's meant in Throne of Glass, but I thought this was an interesting idea that we've never seen happen again. The idea that Feyre can kind of charge people up. So it might have just been a throwaway line. Might be nothing. But
and it's interesting because they're wielding the same power in that moment too, right? Like she's using flames and he kind of is using flames. He's using flame-licked power.
Yeah, but his flames seem to be more valuable in this moment.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Right? And she got her flames from Baron and he got his flames from his mother.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe his mother's line is more true. And we're told
I definitely think his mother's line is.
Right. His father sought out his mother specifically because she was so powerful. Right?
Yeah. Which just breaks my heart for the Lady of the Autumn Court. Like she's clearly beaten and has no name, and I mean she has a name presumably like somewhere in that universe, but like
she's the Lady of the Autumn Court.
She's
I
the
don't
Lady
think
of the Autumn
Tamlin knows her name.
Yeah.
It's sad. I hope she gets her redemption. Or not redemption. I just hope she's okay.
Yeah. I think she's Mala descended.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. That's like honestly my only real answer for this question is like I think Fire is his mother's. His mother is Mala descended. Her whole essence when she's helping Feyre in exchange for Feyre giving up her name to save her son, she smells of roasting chestnuts and crackling fires. Like that's her scent. She is fire. Oh, I wish we saw more of her, honestly.
I just had a wisp of a thought when you said Feyre giving up her name. Like, maybe it's gone.
Is it Nameless is my price? Because I can't do that right now.
It's something with Nameless. It's something with Nameless is my price.
Well, I mean, the characters who don't have names in these series, my alarm bells go off every time. The king, the lady, hardly anyone has a last name.
Hardly anyone has a last name.
We need to talk more about that. What else?
All right. That's all I had. Do you have
I mean, did we talk about Daylight?
I said the spell cleaving, which is from Helium.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was that interesting, but I hope you did.
I mean, I just think it's like, I feel like this light, like you said, has to be tied to being Starborn, like to this Starborn light.
I know. Yeah.
It's probably too much to get into right now, so maybe I'll just plug it here. Like, we need to talk more about Day's Light and what is Starborn, because remember, Crescent City was written 5 years after A Court of Thorns and Roses. And so we don't have clear timelines, and we don't really know, like, which direction these worlds were bred into. But
it was written before Silver Flames.
Crescent City was written before Silver Flames.
Yeah. Helion has a really strong reaction to the mask. Remember?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which is
he's
death.
Like, it's so evil. There's so much evil in this.
Yeah.
And like, why? Why does he has a stronger reaction than Rhys or Nesta seem to? I don't know. Much to discuss.
Much to discuss. Okay. What else do we have to talk about? Because
I did my precog. Do you have precog?
I'll share what inspired the start of a precog, and I think like honestly my whole episode was so whack that like we can just leave it there. So you talked about in our last episode, in the Tamlin episode, that Tamlin might have been the mercenary, right? And that could explain how Tamlin kind of knew that she had killed Andras and could kind of confirm that like Feyre was the one and go find her. You had also said that that's how Tamlin knew that she had skinned him.
Yeah.
Feyre does share that she had skinned him, that she sold his hide at the market to Tamlin directly. So like that, I think, you know, it's important, but like Tamlin probably knew just by inferring that, you know, she sold his hide, so she skinned him. We hear the entire exchange between Tamlin and Lucian that Andras is dead, right? So we hear point to point, basically, like, is Andras dead? Yes, I'm sorry. All the way through, like, this conversation is over. Lucian says, yet you killed him anyway, though he made no move to attack you, and then you skinned him. Nowhere do we hear Lucian notified that Feyre skinned Andras.
And how does he know he made no move to attack her, too?
Right. Like, I don't know. I think Lucian could be a game maker in this story. Like, if what we talked about with the Naga played out, like, what other role did he play? I know I said that Tamlin, like, could be the strategist behind Pharaoh's whole life, basically. But this just smells off to me. Like, we never have had a Lucian POV aside from when we were in his head, when Feyre was in his head, and he was kind of chanting that Elaine was his mate. We have that moment where suddenly a white iridescent magic is gagging Tamlin Like, I think maybe my pre-cut corner theory is just like Lucian is hiding a lot. We do not know Lucian.
We should not know.
And he could have been the mercenary. He could have been shifted by Tamlin. He could have been just like around spying. Like, we don't know, right? But he's there when they get back. So if he was with them, I don't think Tamlin knew.
It's interesting because Feyre describes Lucian as clever, right? When she goes into his head, she says sad and clever. And we never really see it. We never really see Lucian being that clever as far as we know.
As far as we know. Yeah.
Right. So, like, we could be being set up for a big fucking reveal. It would be great.
Yeah. It'd be great. That's all I'll say. I'll leave it there. Because we have been talking for a long time.
I know. I did not think this was going to be a 2-hour episode of it.
Neither did I. Hopefully by the time you guys get it, it'll be like hour 40 something. But we're trying, guys. We usually take, like, when these get to over 2 hours, it's usually because one of us has to, like, look at something or, like, we'll cut this. None of that happened here.
No. This was just... And I'm not tired. Usually at the end of a 2-hour one, I'm like, oh my God, we have to do it again. No,
we'll see how the next one goes. But yeah, I agree with you. What are you reading, Abby?
You know what's so sad, Ron? I'm just reading Crescent City. That's just what I'm reading. I just, like...
That's good.
It's not good. I literally have read this book this year. But I'm like, I just need to reread it now that we're doing this. And, like, see what I missed. So I'm just slowly rereading it again and kind of enjoying it for the story. I'm on book 1. I'm almost done with book 1. I wish I had a more fun answer that I was reading something that wasn't Sarah J. Maas, but I don't. So.
You know what's even more sad? I'm reading A Court of Silver Flames. So.
That's okay.
It's okay. I mean, it's probably my favorite reread, to be frank. I'm at the part where am I? She just lit up in flames, which is such a great part. So
such good scene.
And I've kind of forgot that Rhys, like, came and showed up and helped her, and that was like the first, like, sort of tender moment we had between the two of them.
When Rhys realizes how broken she is.
He still makes me mad after that point. Like, I understand that I'm seeing it from Nesta's point of view, and that's why I'm mad, but I'm also like, Rhys, you know what's going on here.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm reading. All right. Well,
if it makes you feel better, Bryce's stupid fucking plan to free Hunt from the Asteri by buying him herself also makes me angry. Because that was so fucking dumb. What the fuck was she thinking? This book gets stupid.
Like, that doesn't give me warm fuzzies.
Right.
Like, oh, you're gonna buy him so you can, like, not for me.
It's just so dumb because she literally says, Fury said I couldn't do anything stupid, not I couldn't do anything smart. And then she goes and does the dumbest fucking thing she could. I literally was reading the scene. I was like, this is a setup. This is a joke. There has to be another plan in place. There's not. She's just dumb.
Yeah. This season is not about Crescent City, but when we get there, I've got thoughts on Bryce.
Things to say about Bryce. All right.
Okay. We are on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube as Dragons in the Details Pod. We also have a link tree on all of those that links to our Discord server, that links to our book recommendations, lots of fun stuff. So find us, follow us, and explore all of the community benefits. I don't know. We have a bit of a community. It's pretty fun.
401ks, healthcare plan.
Yeah. No, we do not.
We do not offer 401ks.
We do not offer retirement funds. We also have an email, dragonsindthedetailspod@gmail.com. We love to hear from you guys. It's probably a good avenue to send us more long-winded theories. Although, of course, like, we get DMs and love to hear from you guys. And let us know what you think. Let us know your reactions to our theories. We do social media shout-outs at the beginning of every episode. And if you were with us for the Empyrean, you know that we very much respond to the things that you say. So we want to hear them if you're new here. And just a little tidbit for you. Anything else you'd add, Abby?
Nope. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.